The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of the Big Wax Buffalo on the Rise, meet some amazing people from hometown businesses, like Denise Ligammare from Western Division Credit Union, providing a range of banking services including checking accounts, loans, and mortgages. Mark Eberth from Eberth Tiling and Home Improvement, who can help make your home and living space come alive. And if you have chronic pain and conventional medicines and treatments aren't working, Dr. Christian Miliotto from Western New York Pain Relief and Integrative Wellness Center is here to help. All on this edition of the Big Wax Buffalo on the Rise. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big Wack. Joining us on the Big Wax Buffalo on the Rise today is Denise Ligammare, who is the Business Development Manager for the Western Division Federal Credit Union.
Yes.
I'm used to saying that, like in letters,
Yeah.
So you don't have to.
I was from WDFC.
Yeah, that's right. So welcome. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Let's talk about, first off, what is Western Division? Let's start with that, something basic. Huh?
Well, just like you were saying, the call letters WDFCU, or
Right.
That's how most credit unions go by. We go by Western Division, which is basically, we are a credit union in Western New York that we service the Western Division part of New York State. So anybody in Western New York can use our financial services that we have at the credit union.
That was the question I was going to ask you. Now, first, are credit unions different than banks? So we can get to that in a second. But restrictions. So there are restrictions to what members you can have with the credit union?
Well, Buffalo has many credit unions that are in there. Some were started by churches, some were started by employers, some were started by school districts. And basically what has happened over the years is that a lot of credit unions have become communities. So they're community-based. So anybody who lives, works, worships, or go to school within certain counties can belong to that credit union. In Western Division, we service the 8 counties of the Western New York area.
So when somebody comes in, do you question, when they're filling out an application or whatever, have you ever had to say, oh, gee, I'm sorry, you can't belong because?
Well, if all of a sudden we look at their address and they're from Florida,
Right.
we're
Yeah.
like, hey, how are you eligible for the credit union? Or how did you hear about us? And then we can divulge it that way on how they're eligible for membership. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Like I said, we had someone call us from Florida the other day. Was Googling, our rates came up, but unfortunately we weren't able to provide service because they did live in Florida and they had no ties to the Western New York area.
What about snowbirds?
Snowbirds? Absolutely snowbirds. Once you're a member of the credit union, wherever you go in the world,
Really?
you automatically take your credit union with you.
Oh, well, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
How do credit unions differ from banks?
Credit unions and banks, and the similarities are that we offer all the same products and services. Your savings, your checking, your loans, your mortgages, your investments. Differences is banks are for-profit financial institutions, so any type of money or profits that they make, they pay off to their shareholders. Where at a credit union, we are not-for-profit. So basically what that means is that any type of fees or income that we make, we pay back to our shareholders, but our shareholders are not corporations or anything like that. They're every single person that uses us. And that leads me into one of the things that Western Division does different than any other credit union in this area, is that we pay our members what's called a patronage dividend. And so basically, when you bank with us, we pay you back by saying thank you for using our cooperative. So since 2003, we've been paying this patronage dividend to our members, and we usually pay it the week of Thanksgiving, which seems to be nice. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Here you go, here's some extra money for you. But we take a look at any type of savings and loans that you have with us, and we actually pay more dividends than what was paid during the year on savings, and we refund you back some of the interest that you paid on your loan during the year when the credit union does well. And we've been doing very well. So like I said, since 2003, we pay back approximately almost $1 million every year to our members at Western Division. And to date, we've been almost to $13 million.
Isn't it amazing to think about something that actually gives you money back?
Especially
nowadays?
in banking.
Oh, yeah. Hey, is this a busy time of the year for you, tax season? Is it?
It's tax season, you know, it's more people wondering what's your route in and transit number, how do I get my deposit into the account and things like that. But this time of year is basically all about consolidation. A lot of people taking a look at their finances, seeing where they can save more money on the loans, earn more money on savings accounts. And so we're helping our members guide through that, or new members that come into the credit union. So we kind of doing it that way, especially with our Ditch the Debt. I know we talked about that last time I was on the program. So the Ditch the Debt, it's a consolidation on a credit card. So instead of, everybody always saw those 0% offers at the beginning of the new year. And 0% is not always better, as we tell everybody. With 0% offers, you usually have to pay a balance transfer fee of 3 to 5% of the balance that you're transferring over. And then after usually 12 months of 0%, it goes up to like 24%. So we made it a little bit better. We made the Ditch the Debt is our credit card is at 6.99%. You can consolidate anything in with no balance transfer fees at all, and we give you however long you want to pay off that loan, and it stays at the 6.99%. So it's actually a better deal for you.
Well, you know, I was thinking probably after COVID, when people were stuck home for a long period of time, they got to looking at things and saying, you know, we've got to change this.
Yeah, does this really make sense? And that was a very bad time in the environment, rate-wise, to try and make a move. And we're kind of moving out of that now, where you're starting to see, you know, prime rate is starting to go back down. You know, hopefully the housing market will start to equal itself out and things like that. So people are starting, I think, to look again to be like, okay, am I getting the best deal where I'm at right now? And they're starting to do more of the rate shopping, not just when they're buying, but now to like refinance, consolidate, and see if they can get a better deal.
We've got about a minute and a half left. What about home equities? Are they still a thing?
Home equities, you were talking about, are we busy during tax season?
Right.
But no, we're busy now with home equities. So it was funny, I was reading something in USA Today the other day where Zillow puts out the top 10 areas in the country for house values. And Western New York made the list. They're right up in the top 10. And the reason why that is because our house values are really increased and holding their value. So if you're purchasing a house, not so much in your favor, but if you own a home, the equity that's in your house right now could work very well for you. And so that goes for, talking back to COVID, a lot of us stayed home, started being like, oh, I think I'm gonna stay in my house. I think I'm gonna redo the kitchen. Maybe I want a pool in the backyard and things like that. So using the equity in your home to do that makes so much more sense than either a credit card or like a department store or you know, something like a home improvement store card.
Denise Ligammare, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Western Division Federal Credit Union by calling 716-500-LOAN or go to westerndivision.org. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment was provided by Western Division Federal Credit Union. And just a reminder to join me weekday mornings, 7 to 9 a.m. on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Wack. Hi, I'm Joe Chilling, mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Wack. Joining us on The Big Wack's Buffalo on the Rise today is Mark Eberth from Eberth Tiling and Home Improvement.
Great.
How are you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. Kind of feel like I'm looking in the mirror today, Mark. So
Yeah.
I just want you to know. You know, give us some ideas of what actually got you interested in home improvement.
Well, that would be my father.
Okay.
So my dad was a carpenter by trade. He actually worked in the steel plant for 30 years, but he also did remodeling on the side. So growing up, he used to take me around Lancaster, Depew area where we grew up. And just whatever he was remodeling, he dragged me along with him. So I just kind of got hooked on it, like taking absolutely nothing and making something out of it.
You know, I really envy, you know, people like you because I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the kind of the guy that calls up, you know, makes the phone call and has somebody else come in. I'm just not that handy. And you know, the other thing is, and maybe you can tell us why this is the case. I was just talking, you know, to somebody previously about the fact that when COVID happened, a lot of people working from home.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they noticed all the things that were wrong with their house.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? You know, it's like I walk by that door 16 times a day. I never saw that it was dingy or cracked or, you know, whatever, right?
No,
That's the case, right?
Yeah, it goes beyond that. I mean, people would make up lists. I mean, you would have thought it would have slowed down with the COVID. It went crazy. So.
Well, what about when people want to make improvements to their home? Is it still like kitchen and bathrooms? Are those the big things?
Yeah, yeah. Kitchen and bathrooms, instead of people buying houses now, they'd rather do their kitchen and bathroom. Just the way the market is right now with the prices on houses and stuff. It's much easier, cheaper actually to do your kitchen or bath. You know, you do a full remodel or just a partial.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to ask you, because if, you know, somebody wants to, you know, redo a kitchen, you know, you might be talking $30,000, $40,000. But in the event that somebody, maybe it's a backsplash, or they want to have new countertops put in or something like that. So is that, or what about if you don't want to go through the expense of replacing cabinets? Can you reface them or put new doors on them? Or
some people will do that, or else they'll paint them themselves. I mean, we don't get into painting them.
Okay.
Or refacing them. There's other companies that do that, but you don't even have to replace cabinets. Sometimes just changing the handles out. So we don't have a problem with that. And then they'll do new countertops, backsplash, a sink, faucet. I mean, right there alone, I mean, that updates your kitchen quite a bit.
You're supposed to have handles on your doors?
Well, some do and some don't.
Right. I thought you used a knife to No, but how many years has Eberth Tiling and Home Improvements been in business?
34 years, March 1st this year.
34 years. You know, and you know, you said your dad used to take you around. Was it this thing that, you know, it's kind of like the family thing? Did you not have a choice in what you wanted to do? Was it kind of?
Oh no, I did.
You did?
I did. I just really took interest in it. You know, I mean, whether it was painting, drywall. I remember slopping wallpaper, paste on way back. I mean, so anything he did, you know, I just followed him and did the same thing.
What about when you start talking about the average homeowner, and they're looking at something and they say, you know, or their wife says to them.
It's always the wife.
Yeah, right. You know, I think that we should redo this. I think that we should, this is looking kind of old, you know, or whatever. What's the process? Can people actually, do they call you up and say, can I afford to do this?
Oh yeah.
And do you give them different options, you know?
Yeah. So basically what I do is I'll go over to your house, you show me what your project is, whether you want to do a bathroom or a kitchen. Sometimes people have ideas what they want done already, so which is a big help to me. But if they don't, what I'll do is I'll set up an appointment with them. I deal with New York Kitchen and Bath. They're on Broadway in Depew, New York. We got a nice little showroom there. The kitchen designers and kitchen and bathroom designers I work with on a daily basis. The owner and I, actually, we've gone to school, high school back in the 70s, so we've been around, you know, with each other for quite some time. And I'll take them to the showroom just to help them with ideas. Sometimes people already have ideas, what they want done, which is fine. But then, you know, just people like a visual is what it is.
Right.
You can talk about something all day long, but a lot of people, I'd say 90%, like to see a visual of what things, colors, whether it be cabinets, countertops, tile, everything.
Because I'm just, again, I'm not that guy. I can't place that, you know, in my mind.
Yeah.
When you're doing, especially, say, a bathroom remodel, is it mainly superficial, or do people want, no, I want the toilet over here, or I want the, you know, maybe there's ductwork that's going behind a certain wall, and, you know, do you have to move things like that oftentimes?
Once in a while, sometimes they want to do the bathrooms in a different, different direction. So yeah, moving the toilets and, you know, is part of it. But most of the time, I would say good 90% of the time, it's just the same thing, just everything is updated.
Do people still have bathtubs?
Yeah, good question. I get asked that.
Good question.
You know, the thing is with that, a lot of people want to take their tubs out. They can't get in them anymore. And it's not even an age thing anymore. It's just, you know, convenience too. So I get a lot of people that want their tubs out and just a walk-in shower.
What about finishing off a basement? Is that a big deal anymore or no?
No, I don't get a whole lot of calls about basements. You know, people want to put floors in there, but it's not that big on my part. You know, the kitchens and bathrooms are more what we go for all the time. So
if somebody, the next step, All right, in the event that somebody wants to, they say, I'm thinking about this, and now I see on TV, I see Mark on TV, he's talking about this. What should they do? Give you a call?
Yeah, give me a call. I'll come out to the house, like I said before, and then see what they got going on, and we'll take it from there. I'll go shop with them, actually. That's a big thing. The wives love that.
Really?
Yeah, because the husbands don't really care, so whatever she wants.
Yeah, Mark is Instacarting for you. All right, Mark, thank you, by the way. Yeah. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Eberth Tiling and Home Improvements by calling 716-628-5750 or go to Facebook and look them up. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment was provided by Eberth Tiling and Home Improvements. And just a reminder to join me weekday morning 7 to 9 a.m. on The Big Weck. Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings 7 to 9 at Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Weck. Joining us on The Big Weck's Buffalo on the Rise today from Western New York Pain Relief, Dr. Christian Miliotto. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thanks to you, actually. Let's talk about a couple of things that I want to mention right off the bat. Is the buzzword people are talking about all the time, and I hear it all the time, is neuropathy. But I'm not really sure what neuropathy is, and maybe our viewers don't know what it is either. Can you give us kind of a layman's explanation?
Yeah. So it's symptoms that people are feeling that are related to their hands, legs, or feet. They're noticing some weakness or heaviness, balance issues, numbness, burning, tingling, pins and needles, or creepy crawly type feelings. And it's a sign that there could be damage occurring to the nerve, which could be coming from diabetes, people that have had chemo or radiation therapy, circulation issues, or people that have problems with nerves related to their neck or back.
When people age, do they normally get some kind of neuropathy?
Yes and no. So people don't know they have a problem until it hits them. A lot of times spinal stenosis is one of those things that happens older in age, but not everybody gets neuropathy. Neuropathy and symptoms related to the neck, back, or joints in our body, our shoulders, hips, and knees, these are things that do build up over time, and it really does have to do with that person's lifestyle, things they've been through as they've aged, and then the level of inflammation that built up in that tissue to cause the symptoms they're having.
You mentioned diabetes. Is that something that constantly or regularly causes neuropathy?
Diabetes is one of the #1 causes of peripheral neuropathy, but there are a large majority of people who are not diabetics who have developed neuropathy over the last 30 years as we've learned what neuropathy actually is. And that's where medicine has realized that it's not just related to diabetes. You could have a major issue with your neck or back even without pain. Okay, it's affecting the nerves and the discs in your spine. You could have a problem with circulation. As we get older, we all have problems with circulation. If you're noticing that your hands and feet are a little colder than usual, that's a big sign that natural blood flow is changing as we age, and it can cause some of those symptoms. And those are all things that we address naturally at Western New York Pain Relief with advanced regenerative therapies, no medications or surgery.
So there's no magic pill that's going to cure neuropathy?
I wish there was. No, there's no medication that actually treats neuropathy. Anybody that's listening right now, if you've gone and seen your doctor and you don't ask them what medication they're giving you, what it's for, and what the side effects are, you need to advocate for yourself. Gabapentin is an anti-seizure medication. They tell people it's for pain. It's not. Lyrica and Cymbalta are antidepressants. They tell them it's for pain. It's not. So if you're on one of those medications and you've questioned why you're not getting true symptom relief and why you feel weird, like you're having memory issues or you're sleepy or groggy or moody, that's why. And a lot of people are taking medications that they shouldn't be on because there is nothing to treat specific disorders related to the musculoskeletal system.
Let's talk about chronic pain for a second. And I think you were telling me before that chronic pain can sometimes develop into new pain?
Yeah, chronic pain is one of the most notorious factors in how a person ages and how inflammation is produced. In a clinical study, they found that individuals over the course of 10 years that had inflammation that was left untreated developed other comorbid conditions like high blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes, and further nerve and joint issues. So if you kind of think about it, if you have an issue with your knees, what's going to happen if you don't take care of your knees? You're going to have a problem with your hips, you're going to have a problem with your back, you're going to have a problem with standing and walking. If you have a problem with your back that you leave untreated for a period of time, think about how it's built up over time. All of a sudden now you have this chronic pain that's not going away, you're losing function in one of your legs or both, you're getting sciatica, and it's affecting everything. And we have to understand as we get older, we're developing more issues and we're having a harder time healing them, okay? So it's really important to take care of these things and have them properly assessed. But many times people get referred for things they don't need. You know, you might try some physical therapy or chiropractic, you might have an injection, but what happens when this stuff doesn't work? They're leading right towards surgical intervention, which could be unsafe or not work and have negative side effects, when there are forms of regenerative therapy like what we do. And when patients come to us, I just had an 86-year-old with a previous fusion in their back, and he couldn't feel his legs or feet. He's now to the point where he can feel his legs and feet, he can stand and walk, his balance is restored, and his back pain is gone. So if people tell you age is a number, laugh at that. It's not true. Everybody can heal. You just have to get the right stuff.
You know, and you can kind of flip the script sometimes on some of these things that are going on. They can come to you and they can say, you know what, back surgery is the thing that I hear. People say, oh, don't do back surgery unless it's a last resort, right, or whatever.
Of course.
And you know, they come into you, and we've talked about this before. We only have a couple minutes left, but we've talked about this before, how everything is interconnected.
Yes.
It's not just, you know, the knee hurts, so it's got to be something with the knee,
yes.
or my ankle hurts. It's got to be, you know, it's the whole body is intertwined, right?
Yes, and we bring customized treatments to the patient specific for their needs. So if you have a problem with your back and it's affecting your knee or your foot, I'm going to treat your back, I'm going to treat your knee, and I'm going to treat your foot. We have knee decompression to help people avoid knee replacements or injections. We have spinal decompression to help people avoid back surgery or treat a disc or a nerve disorder that couldn't be treated. And we can treat neuropathy of any kind. We use a combination of therapies that regenerate tissue, accelerate healing, eliminate inflammation and pain, and restore quality of life in a very short period of time.
Dr. Christian Miliotto, Western New York Pain Relief, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure as always.
For more information and answers to your questions, contact Western New York Pain Relief by calling 716-650-PAIN or go to buffalopainrelief.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Western New York Pain Relief. And join me weekday morning 7 to 9 a.m. on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Whack.
Thanks for watching this edition of The Big Whack Presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigwhack.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to The Big Whack, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big Whack Presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.